In today's video, I'm going to answer the following question. Let's say you have a ton of experience interviewing people, either in your current job, either in your previous company, but you lack confidence on the other side as an interviewee. So how can you significantly ramp up your skills given that you have some level of expertise with these things? And there are three elements that we'll touch upon here. First is, what type of experience do you actually have with these things? Because there's a huge difference between hiring top performers and hiring people that are for more junior roles or in price-sensitive businesses, such as outsourcing businesses. If you have experience for top-performing companies, yes, I would say that's a great thing to take to inspire yourself from. But if it's the latter, that there was also for roles that are not necessarily supposed to be top performers, I would very much argue that it's not all that useful to use your experience in your preparation process. That I'm assuming you're preparing for a top performing company, for a top performing job, in essence. And one way to quickly find this out is whether you are using, for example, behaviorally anchored scales or behavioral interviewing at all, per se. This is, often a differentiator between these things and between older interviewing techniques and newer ones. So this would be the first thing. Then the second thing, and a little bit linked with the first one, is top performing companies these days know and have it's well-known information that structured hiring processes are a lot more accurate in spotting the best possible candidates. A structured hiring process simply means there are more steps in the process, and the more people they involve, the better the outcomes. They cannot involve hundreds of people because that would be too expensive for them and maybe too taxing on your time. But it's a fact that the more people they engage in the process and the more steps they have, the better the outcomes. For you as a candidate, this simply means that you should your best approach here should be a structured preparation process in turn. And the best way to think about it is, for example, for the behavioral part of the interview, you prepare first the stories, then you prepare some answers to the commonly asked questions, then you role play, and then you assess yourself. So these would be the 4 steps. Now, these are not the 4 steps that you should go through in the entire process, but there are some steps that you should loop through a couple of times. The first time you loop through them is with the main objective to find out what's your weakness and what's your strength in this process. And once you find it out through a complete loop, then the second time you loop through those steps, you know what to improve. For example, if you feel like your answers lack substance, then you should work on your stories. It's not uncommon people work for 1 month to prepare 20 stories on the experiences they already had from their careers. So number 2 is structured preparation process, and structured, but think of it as a structured loop of smaller steps that you want to go through as quickly but as thoroughly as possible in the end. And finally, number 3 here, in my opinion, and it's something that you should think about carefully, is I've seen many people in these scenarios who overthink the cosmetics. Now, I wouldn't want to be misunderstood here. I'm not necessarily thinking about your look or about other types of lighting, for example, in a video interview. But I'd rather say you overthink the cosmetics. You overthink the things that don't really matter here. And let me give an example. By talking and by coaching many HR professionals for HR roles, in these high-performing companies, I noticed that they have the best of them had one thing in common. For example, whenever I coached them, I was advertising my services. Hey, this is a video service. We do video, and everything is very engaging. The best hiring HR professionals never preferred video. They always preferred phone calls or voice conversations because they knew that they were interested in ramping up what they talk about and how they say it. They weren't really particularly interested in the cosmetic side, in the video side, in the theater, if you want. So this is a great example of getting away from the cosmetics and getting straight into what really matters in these things. Because chances are, if you have experience interviewing other people, and if you've been working in such roles, the role that you're applying for is a pretty senior one. So for more senior roles, yeah, it's actually more the preparation is more geared towards what you say and the voice rather than the look of these things. So these would be the three elements that I found, that would hopefully be helpful in ramping up your performance, given this unique scenario where you have experience as an interviewer, but not as much as an interviewee. Thank you very much for watching.